You were having one of those days. Maybe you were crying. Maybe you were just quiet in that particular way that means something is wrong. The kind of quiet that doesn't need explaining, that just sits in a room and changes the quality of the air. Maybe you hadn't even fully registered how you were feeling yet. And then he walked in, toy in his mouth, eyes on you. And he crossed the room and placed it at your feet, or pressed it into your hands, or dropped it in your lap and just stood there, looking at you with those eyes that somehow always seemed to know. You probably laughed a little, maybe you cried a little more, and then you wondered, does he actually know? Does he understand that I'm sad? Did he just bring me his favorite thing in the world because he could tell I needed it? The answer will change the way you look at him forever. Let's start with what your dog can actually perceive. The idea that dogs can read human emotional states is not new, but the science behind it is far more extraordinary than most people realize. Researchers at the University of Lincoln and the University of Sao Paulo conducted a landmark study in which they showed dogs photographs of human faces, happy faces and sad faces, while playing audio of happy voices and sad voices. And here's what made the study remarkable. The faces and the voices didn't match. A happy face was paired with a sad voice. A sad face was paired with a happy voice. The researchers wanted to know whether dogs could integrate these two pieces of information, visual and auditory, to assess emotional state. They could. Dogs spent significantly more time looking at the face that matched the voice. They were cross-referencing. They were synthesizing information from two completely separate sensory channels to arrive at an emotional read of another species. Your dog doesn't just notice that you seem different. He is actively reading you, assembling information from your face, your voice, your posture, and the chemistry of the air around you into an assessment of how you are doing. And on the days when you're not okay, he knows. Now let's talk about what he knows when he knows. Researchers at the University of London published a study that specifically looked at how dogs respond to human crying. They exposed dogs to scenarios in which their owner or a stranger made either a neutral sound, humming, or a sound of distress, crying. The dogs responded to crying in ways that were measurably different from their response to neutral sounds. They oriented toward the crying person. They approached. They showed affiliative behaviors, nuzzling, pressing close, resting a head on a lap. And critically, they did this with strangers as well as owners. They weren't just responding to a familiar person. They were responding to emotional distress itself, to the signal in the sound and the body language that said, this one needs something. But with you, with the person who is their whole world, that response is amplified. Because you are not just a person in distress, you are the person, the one his nervous system has been calibrated to for years, the one whose emotional state matters to him more than any other stimulus in his environment. When you are sad, it registers in his brain as information that requires a response. He doesn't know what to do with it the way a human would. He can't make tea or give advice or tell you it's going to be okay, but he can do what he knows. He can come to you and he can bring you the best thing he has. Let's talk about the toy, because this is the part that will break your heart open. Your dog's toy, especially his favorite one, is not just an object to him. It is a resource, something of value, something he has chosen, carried, protected, and returned to. In the world of canine social behavior, what you do with your resources is one of the clearest expressions of how you feel about someone. Wild canines share food with pack members they love. They bring back portions of a hunt for members who stayed behind. Resource sharing in the canine social world is intimacy. It is trust made tangible. It is the act of saying, this is mine, and I am giving it to you, because you matter more than the thing. When your dog picks up his favorite toy and carries it to you on a hard day, he is not trying to distract you. He is not confused about what's wrong. He is doing the most generous thing he knows how to do. He is offering you his most valued possession because you are the most valued being in his world, and you are hurting, and he has to do something. That toy in your lap is a love letter, written in the only language he has. There's another possibility, too. And it doesn't make what he did any less beautiful. In fact, it makes it more. Animal behaviorists have noted that dogs sometimes bring toys in response to their owner's distress, not just as an offering, but as an invitation. Dogs regulate their own emotions through play. When they are anxious or uncertain or overstimulated, play is one of their primary tools for returning to equilibrium. When something feels wrong in their environment, including a pack member who is in pain, the instinct to initiate play can be a genuine attempt to fix the situation. He might be saying, I don't know what's wrong, but I know that when we play, things get better. I know that when I have this toy and you're there, there is joy between us. So here, take this, let me try. He is trying to heal you with the only medicine he knows. And the thing is, it works. Not because toys fix sadness, but because in that moment, something living and warm and completely devoted to you crossed a room to find you. Something that felt your pain and decided that being near you, offering you something, trying, was the only acceptable response. You cannot feel entirely alone when that happens. You can't. Here's what I want you to understand about that moment, the one you keep coming back to, the one that made you search for this video. Your dog didn't have to do anything. He could have stayed on his bed. He could have ignored the shift in your energy and gone back to sleep. He could have been completely unaware, but he wasn't unaware. He felt it, and he felt it, and he came. Not because he was trained to, not because he expected something in return, not because he calculated that this would make you feel better, but because you were sad and you are everything to him, and doing nothing was simply not something his heart would allow. He brought you his toy because he loves you, and he didn't know what else to do. That is one of the purest things that has ever happened to you, even if it was just a slightly chewed tennis ball dropped in your lap on a Tuesday. Does your dog do this? Has he ever shown up on a hard day with a toy, or just shown up, pressed against you, rested his head on your knee, refused to leave the room until you were okay? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if you want to understand the 5 other ways your dog tells you he loves you every single day, in ways most owners never fully recognize, that video is right here. Don't miss it.